Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Thursday, March 29th, 2012. There's a lot to cover. Let's get right into the charts. We're going to start off with the S&P 500 E-mini futures, and you'll see they are trading lower today by about 3.5 points. Not really that big a deal. Down to the 1396.50 level. Yesterday, the stock market had a pretty good sell-off, and you can take a look at the futures as they rallied back right around 2 o'clock. So futures right now are trading down about 3.5 to 4 points. One thing you want to watch today very, very closely, because there's a lot of news going on in Europe. There's also news going on in Asia, and we'll get into that in just a second. But you want to keep an eye on the U.S. dollar index. The dollar is starting to make a little bit of a move higher. Dollar moves higher, markets will move lower. That is an inverse relationship. However, often when the dollar is up in the morning session ahead of the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange, which opens at 9:30, the dollar will then fade, and that will usually inflate the stock markets higher. But today, you're getting a pretty good dollar surge, and we've seen this quite often before, where the dollar rallies up, and then the market will fall, and then it will reverse itself once the dollar pulls back. So we have to keep an eye out for that. Keep the dollar chart front and center at this time. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of other things. First, we want to talk about oil today. Oil is trading a little bit lower, down 42 cents. Obviously, when the dollar is stronger, oil will come down. If you take a look at the USO this morning, you'll see USO is trading right around this $40 level at the moment, just a little bit below it. But if the dollar remains strong, it usually will put pressure on oil and gasoline prices. So we'll see how that plays out. There is talk of U.S. ships setting up in the Arabian Sea. There is also chatter that Israel is preparing for a military strike against Iran. Right now, none of that is verified, but there is chatter of that, and we'll see, how this all plays out. But with the Iran crisis lingering, I don't think you're going to see any major decline in the price of oil anytime soon. All right, let's take a look at gold and the GLD this morning. Spot gold is flat, trading at $16.61 an ounce. Let's take a look at the GLD. You'll see the GLD this morning is trading right at 161.11. So nothing terrible there. Closed at 161.50. Trading down just a little bit on the GLD, which is really nothing terrible at the moment. Now, GLD did sell off yesterday, and we'll see where it trades today. There's still a fair amount of support around the 158 level if it does get down there. I'm not sure we'll get there today, but we'll have to wait and see. But right now, gold is holding steady. Oil is down a little bit, and the dollar is much stronger before the opening bell. All right, there's a few things to talk about when it comes to Europe. Right now, there's I believe, a strike going on in the country of Spain over the austerity measures. So you do have a strike going on there. Bond yields on Italian 10-year debt is starting to rise. That could be problematic. Also, you have the DAX down, I believe, over 1.1%. So that's a pretty good decline. The French CAC 40 is down about 0.9%, and the British FTSE 100 is down about 0.8%. So European markets are coming under some pressure this morning. We have to watch that very, very closely. However, it is Spain right now that has rising debt yields. And I also believe Italy had a bond auction which went off pretty decently, but since that auction, yields are starting to rise as well. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Nothing horrible just yet, but we'll see how it plays out going forward. China last night again, the Shanghai was down 1.44%. Really, all of Asia was down across the board. It looks like the Indian Sensex was only down about 0.4%, which isn't too bad. But the Nikkei was down 0.6%, or 0.7% rather, and the Hang Seng was down 1.3%. So decent declines across the board in Asia last night, and that's something you got to watch for. So be careful with the Chinese ADRs today. Yesterday, some of them put in nice reversal days. Baidu, I believe, Sohu was down sharply yesterday. That would put a nice reversal day in. Sina Corp held up, but that had a good sell-off yesterday as well. So a lot of these Chinese ADRs came under pressure, and you want to watch them again. They could come under pressure again today if the U.S. markets are weak. If the U.S. markets are strong and they hold up, I wouldn't expect too much downside action on the Chinese ADRs. They were down pretty decently yesterday. All right, let's take a look at some stocks today that we have in the news. I'm going to start off with Red Hat. Red Hat's the open source company here. Right now, the stock is trading up around 55.75 level. That's a good, decent gap. It looks like it has some strength. What you want to watch for Red Hat, though, is if it got up to around $58, I just don't think it would get much past there. I'm not even sure it will get there. But the gap is strong, something I wouldn't fade. Around $58, though, I would consider probably stepping in for an intraday scalp short. But let that level get up there first. Pretty decent little gap up this morning. We'll see if it can hold. This stock, SABA, which is Saba Software, stock is getting hammered this morning. It looks like it's from what I can see, it's not a strong gap down, but the stock won't have very good support until around $10.75. If it gets there, the next spot would be all the way down to $10. So $10.75. Watch that thing getting there. I think it will get there this morning. There could be a quick bounce in it. I've never traded this stock before. It's a light volume name, so you got to be careful with all these light volume stocks. Let's take a look at Mosaic this morning. Mosaic is all over the map, trading right now at a 56.60. Stock has good support around 55, at least short-term support, short-term intraday support around the 55 level. That could give you a little bit of a bounce. Also, if that fails to hold, you're going to look at 53.17 and then 51.63. 51.63 is also a decent bounce level. So you're going to look right around the 55, maybe a pierce of $55. 53.17, 51.63, all decent bounce areas intraday. Let's take a look at Best Buy. Best Buy had earnings. The company rallied up early, and now it's starting to fade. So it's trading right around the 27 level. I honestly just don't see a lot of upside for Best Buy. Maybe I'm dead wrong, but the gap is already starting to fade. If it comes back down and closes around yesterday's low here intraday, just don't make anything out of it. I just don't see a lot of upside for Best Buy. Every time the stock has earnings, it usually is a fade. The gap up on this is okay, but I'm really having a hard time seeing where this thing could go. 28.50 is upside potential, but I don't even see that happening. Okay, let's take a look at Movado, the watchmaker here. The stock started out pretty strong. It's sitting right at 22.27. I can't make much out of this. There's no volume in the pre-market. The gap up it's okay. It's nothing worthwhile here. I would just leave it alone at the moment. Could go either way with Movado. Looks like we have, I believe, jobless claims are out. Initial jobless claims, week ending down 5,000 to 359,000. So again, let's take a look at the futures here, starting to slide a little bit, down 6 points. So futures are trading down 6 points. Watch over here, though, the dollar is starting to come in a little bit. If the dollar starts to fall, that will help the market stay buoyant. It's a catch-22 there. But nonetheless, futures are coming down. We're down 6 points now, so down a little bit lower. We'll see how this market plays out today. But that's kind of it today for the pre-market news and views. We'll leave it there. Again, watch that dollar very closely once the opening bell rings. That will tell you, usually will tell you everything you need to know. With that said, everybody, have a great trading day, and we'll see you on the charts tomorrow. Take care now.